Okay, I'm going to go over to the OBU website, sign in, and we're going to go through case 12. This is for BISS 1123, section B. We got wiped out today my machine froze up for some reason. I don't understand what that was all about. So I'm going to redo the session and replace it. And I'd send everybody an email as well as providing all of you with a as well as providing everybody with an announcement in their sections. Okay, so that's what's going on, and I think I put one in both sections, although I really didn't need to. It just dealt with this section, so I'm going to sign in. Okay, and hopefully we'll get rolling here. Okay. Now, I may have inadvertently sent notes to everybody over in section A as well, which was not good. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over to business problem analysis, section A, and go into the announcements. And this announcement I put up here, extra credit. Okay, good. All right, so they're in good shape. Good. Okay. That's for section A. Now let me go to section B. And so I didn't confuse everybody with emails, the best I can tell. And here's the announcements. Okay. Now, here's the, I noted here, the extra credit opportunity. Okay. And I've had people already responding, and I've had some people get it, nail it. It's clear. It's right in front of you. You'll know when you see it. This is a message I put about today. I had some kind of technical issue there at school. I'm not sure what in the world was going on, but to make a long story short, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and do the recording I was doing at 2 o'clock this afternoon before the system froze up on me. I couldn't save anything. Okay, so we're going to go through it. I just wanted to, again, do some homework real quickly. And I had a few people join me, so I'm sure I'll have a lot more of you watch this. And I'm going to go down to the modules. Okay. Now, remember, we are working ahead on these Excel cases, so that when we hit access, we have the time to go a little bit slower, and because everybody's usually pretty comfortable with Excel. So this week you should have already uploaded XLS 7, and then we have the break-even and economic order quantity quiz. Okay, and the break-even analysis is going to be from that case number 6, Badger Jams, and the economic order quantity is, I believe, case 7, hardware nuts, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look here. Page 67 in the solid book. Yep, that's when we did the reorder point. We figured the EOQ. So so this quiz here covers draws upon material from chapter 6 and case 6 and case 7 from the textbook. Okay. Then also here's a quiz that's due from Few, the Stephen Few book, that textbook, which is basically we're looking at visual literacy, and it's show me the numbers. That's the textbook. Okay. Now at this point in time, we had worked on up to case 11, so we're really ready to do case 12, which is a Truman assembly. There are 2 remaining Excel cases. The one we're going to look at today, which is Truman assembly, and we're going to look at creating macros, and the other is specific trading, where we're going to be using pivot table. My brain's dead. It's tired at 6:30 at 7 o'clock at night after a hard day at school. Okay, so to make a long story short, That's what's due this week. And we're going to work on case number 12, Excel case 12. And then you'll want to upload it, okay? And I'll upload here in the file. So now I want to say one other thing just while I've got everybody's attention here. I want to mention just very briefly the course policy about late work is pretty clear. The first time you're late with your work, it's half credit. From there on out, it's zero. I just simply, because I have all of this laid out, because you can work on this at your own pace, because you can work ahead, because I show you how to do cases and so you can upload them and get credit, because you have an open note, open book, exam, quizzes. I don't know what else I can do. So I'm not real happy when I get somebody who wants an extension, because you've known about what it was due. And this course is as much about time management as it is about anything, okay? And I'll also mention, you know, the system, there may be those times when there's a system glitch, like there was today, okay? So that's why I'm back here today doing this this evening, redoing this, because we lost the recording. I could have just immediately said, you know, go solve it and turn it in, but I didn't. So I'm redoing it. So I want to say that because I've had some people, you know, want to turn in work, and, you know, writing me and saying, gee, I forgot about it, this, that. That's not my problem. That's your problem. And you're going to need to get better, some of us, not all of us, just a few of us, at time management. And that's really what it boils down to. Unless I see a whole slug of people complaining to me about something that's wrong with the system, when someone says, well, I did it or I submitted or whatever, and I go and I look and I see the system says that you didn't, I don't have any other way to balance off. And all I can tell you is, you know how to upload files, okay? So when I see that if someone hasn't submitted something, I have no recourse but to give them a zero. And it's like this. You have this test coming up. You've got a quiz. This should have already been done. So you've got these three things. And today we're going to work on the Truman Assembly. Okay. So we'll go over Truman Assembly, and we're going to go, first of all, we're going to go into the Files section of Canvas. All right. And we're going to go down to the Solve It 6.0 student files. And today when I did the ground base, there were some folks there who didn't have their textbook. Look, you're going to be lost as a goose in a rainstorm when it comes to doing some of these hands-on assignments if you've not been watching the video and having the textbook. Now, does it mean you have to watch it at the time the class is scheduled? No. Does it mean that you can't take 10 or 15 minute segments of a video and watch it? No. Your best bet is when you watch it to have your textbook with you, okay, and to have an Excel file open and be working along with me. And look, here's the deal. When I'm doing a live stream cast, if you're at the classroom up there and I go and you're just not getting something, you can be confident of two things. Number one, I'll have a recording that will show you how to do it so you can go back and see how to do it. And number two, after I do a case, I upload it in the files so it's there for you to upload to get the credit, okay? So I can dispense with you getting credit for these, all right, and focus on what you learn. We're going to go down here to the Solve It 6.0. And let me mention one other thing also. I've made it pretty clear in writing in terms of my late policy. First time, it's half credit. From there on, it's zero. I don't accept late work after week 10. You're going to find that in there as well. We just stood at a point where I'm not going to take any more late work. I've got enough on my hands to do. And you should, at this point, be ready to go. So we'll go down here to the Solve It 6.0 student files. We're going to download that zip file. Okay. I want to say this also, and I'm, on the whole, everybody did a good job of working with this case. Here's the Truman queue. I'm going to open Truman up. Okay, and I'm going to enable editing. All right, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it as copy of Truman Q Harmon Keith. Then we'll go up to the desktop. I will save it on the desktop, and there it is. And I'm going to diminish the spreadsheet. I'm going to close this off. I'm going to diminish the browser, bring this down, and we'll find this. Here it is, the copy of Truman Q Harmon Keith. Now I'm going to open it up, okay, and then I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to reopen it. I'm on my device, and I'm ready to go. Okay, Truman Assembly is one of those cases that deals with using Microsoft Excel like it's a database. Okay, and we're going to see that. Now I'm going to come over here to the modules area again. Okay, and here's the supplemental website. Say that 6 times. Here's a supplemental website. All right, and I've got a link to it. And you're going to find some resources over here that are applicable to today's case. And I wanted to show you one of them. Let's see here. This guy in live. That's in Palmer. Okay. Key resource lawn. Here's something to take a look at. This is a view of the components of a lawnmower. So the company that we're looking at today, they have a problem. They've got to keep track of all that inventory. And they've got to look at their vendors who ship to them. Which vendor gets part to me early, late, or on time. And so that's what we're going to look at. Okay. And you can go online, go over to YouTube, places like that, and you can see how things are made. All types of information about that, as well as using PERT CPM, Program Evaluation Review Technique, Critical Path Method, okay? And you can go out and see some other resources for that, okay? So I'm going to pop back out of that supplemental website, and now I'm back in Canvas, and I'm going to go back to the modules, all right? And one more time, I'm going to fold this up. I may even have something here for you to take a look at. Let me see. Let's see if I've got a resource for you. Okay. Here, when people ask me, where will I find what I need as regards, you know, the exams, I have a PDF that tells you each exam, each quiz, and where to find the information for it. Okay, so we got that done. Now we're down here to week 5, and again, XLS 7, that's already been done in class, so you should upload it. Again, it's there. Break even and EOQ quiz. Well, that's from those 2 cases, case number 6 and case number 7, and then we have a quiz over Stephen Few, chapter 6. Now, notice these are all due, okay, on May the 8th. All right, and so you'll need to take a look at that. March the 8th, excuse me. Now, let's take this Excel file and let's pop it up here. All right, and here we see the familiar business with with an ID area, but no assumptions. All right. Now we have this company, Truman Assembly, and this is like a database table. As I've said before, Access is designed to be used as a data place, a way to collect, store, and get information. Okay. Excel is a spreadsheet or an analytic application. It's designed for computation. Sometimes we can use Excel's database properties or tools. They're there, just like when we can do some computation work in Access. Okay, but if I wanted, I could take this table, and usually tables are have more columns, more records than they do columns. They tend to be tall. Okay, and you'll see here are some things like vendor name, vendor number, the order number, the item number, description, the cost, the quantity, cost per order, any terms as far as, net 30, net 45. This 1.5% is if you pay the entire amount due, you get a 1.5% discount. This is the promised transit time. Okay, so look at this first record. The people ordered it on the 2nd of April. So they promise, the vendor says, we'll have it to you in 6 days. It actually arrived in 7. So this vendor, we love them because they got it to us a day early. And as you remember when we talked about the economic order quantity, all right, we don't want to have too much inventory on the floor, and we don't want to run out. So there's that balancing. And the next step up in the supply chain from that economic order quantity process is to say, okay, my vendors who supply me all those parts that we saw for a lawnmower just a minute ago, how good are they at getting the stuff to me so I can assemble it? Okay, and that's really what's going on over there at Truman Assembly. Now, if you have, and you should have your textbook, okay, you should have the Solve It 6.0 textbook, and there, page 111 is spreadsheet case 12, and that's Truman Assembly. All right. If you're curious, which I hope you are, you can also go over to how it's made over at YouTube and see how some of these products are put together. There's another one, I think it's inside FedEx's Super Hub, okay? And I don't know if I have a link to that, but you probably can see that if you go over to YouTube. I think they have that, or I might have that resource, okay? But go online and take a look at some of this. I want to encourage it. Now, I'm going to do something here. This is not too bad. However, I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the entire array, which is A something up there, all the way over here to M73. Now I'm going to bold those, and I'm going to make them 11 in terms of size. It's just a little bit brighter and easier to see, okay? So now we're ready to go. Now we're going to create some macros so we can do some sort operations that we need to do, all right? Remember, on the last class where we used filters get records. Sorts arrange things according to some type of criterion, like a dimension. This is a dimension. This would be a fact. So would the item number. This would be a measure, meaning something I add, subtract, or multiply. So would the quantity. So would the cost per order. These terms are a dimension. Really, they're yeah. And the promised ship date. Okay, that's a fact. The transit, that's a fact. Okay, and then the actual arrival date, you could say that's also, and then the days overdue. Okay, well, we're gonna look at this, and we're gonna use the custom sort function in Excel and treat this like a data table. So I'm going to highlight everything from A7 down to M73. And then I can come over here and I can do my custom sort. All right. Now, before I do that, I'm going to create a macro. Macro is just simply an object that has some programming code attached to it. You're going to see it's as easy as pie. So I'm going to click Insert. I'll come over here and find the shapes. And this is my vendor macro. We're going to create a macro called vendor. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take this shape. This is a rounded rectangle. Okay. I can right click it and I can put right click it and put edit text. And I'm going to call this the vendor sort. Okay. Now, I've created an object. Now I'm going to create a macro that is put into motion when I press this. So I'm going to come over to View, and you should see macros. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click Record Macro. Now I'm going to call this vendor sort. Okay. And we say, well, how do we get all this? Well, from the textbook. And then I'm going to have a shortcut key, which is a V. Okay. And then I'm going to have a description. Now, the vendor sort, and the authors talk about that. They want the vendor sort, okay? And this is going to be the vendor name. And this will be in ascending order. Meaning alphabetical. And then we want the item number. And that's going to be in let's see, the item number, and that's going to be in ascending order. Okay. And then we want cost per order. And that's going to be one. Cost per order is going to be in descending. So I'll put ZA. The AZ, ZA, AZ. Now, when you go over and you look at the home, okay, and you'll see the filters, they have an AZ, which means ascending, A to Z. If I flip that and call it Z to A, I'm talking about in descending from the largest to the smallest. So we'll click OK. All right, and I'm wondering, vendor sort. I'm just going to try let's try vendor sort again and see what happens. If it's mean to us. Is there other invalid characters? All right, we're going to do this. We're going to call it vendors. And it's going to play nice with this. Okay. Now I'll click up here and it's going to say I'm recording. And we'll stop recording once we finish doing what we want to do. So now I'm going to click on Home. I'm going to go over here to the Sort and Filter. I'm going to do a custom sort. Well, I need to specify the range. So it's going to be A7 down to M73. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to the Sort and Filter, and I'm going to select Custom Sort. Okay. And I'm going to sort by, we're going to start out with the vendor name, and that's in A to Z, ascending order. I'm going to add level, and I'm going to get the item number, and that's going to be in ascending level, smallest to the largest. I'm going to add another level, and this will be cost per order, and that's going to be from the largest to the smallest. Okay, and this will be the vendor name, the item number, cost per order. And I'll click OK, and it's going to do the sort. Okay, and you'll see that it did that. We have the vendor names are in ascending order. The item number, you'll see that is in ascending order. Okay, and then you'll see also that the cost per order is in ascending order. Now, we want to go back up here and click View. All right, I want to click Macros, and I click Stop Recording. All right. Now, I want to right-click on this vendor sort over here on this object. And you come down and you'll see it says Assign Macro, and I'm going to assign a macro to it, and that macro is going to be vendors. And I'll click OK, and notice my description. I'll click OK. Now, once I've assigned this object to a macro, watch. I'll put my cursor here, boom, it'll do it. Now we're going to do a second one, and this is fast arrival. And if you say, where are you at? I'm on page 112 in the Solve It 6.0 textbook. So I'm going to do I'm going to record a macro. Okay, and this will be called fast arrival. Okay, and for this one it will be Control F, and we're going to put a description, and the fast arrival is days overdue, and this is going to be in ascending order. Okay, and it makes sense. The faster they are, we're going to go from the fastest arrival to the slowest. So we're working in ascending order. And then I'm going to get the vendor name. And that is going to also be, that's going to be in alphabetical order. So it will be an AZ. You see how I've done this here? I've got the days overview and the vendor name. And I signed the Control Shift F hit. I'll click OK. Now it's ready for me to do my thing. We can always pop up here, and if it says stop recording, that means you are still recording, and you don't press that till you're through. So I'm going to come over here to A7, all right, and go all the way down to M73. Now sometimes people can get a little skittish through recording the macro. They think, oh, don't worry about it. It's going to just simply record the keystrokes. And now I'm ready to click Home, and I'll come over here and I'm going to do my custom sort. And this is going to be the days overdue. And I'm going to put that slowest to largest. And then I'm going to put the vendor name, and that'll be in ascending order. And this last one, I'm going to delete. And I'm going to click, and make sure it says my data has headers, and I'm going to click OK. And there it is. Now let's notice this. First of all, we've got the days overdue, starting with the smallest up to the largest, ascending order. These people got that to me 2 days early. These folks down here were 2 days late. These folks in the zeros were right on time, just like they promised us. Okay, so we've got that. Now we want to click back up here on view, and we want to come over to macros, and you see the little blue dot. I'll stop recording. Okay, now I'm ready to make another button. So I'm going to click insert, shapes, and since these are folks who get fast arrival, I'm going to come down here to stars and banners. And I'm going to get this one. And I'll come over here. Now, if I want, I can use a different color, and I'm going to make that color because they're good people. They get the stuff to me early. And it says now, we're going to edit the text, and we're going to call this fast arrival. Now, I'll smush this out a little bit. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and that's not showing up well. So I'm going to come over to home, and for the font, I'm going to use a nice black. And I'll make it a 12. And we'll just smush this out a little bit, pull it out. Now vendor sort, see it just went? And we're on vendor arrival. Okay. And now we want to assign this to a macro. So we'll click assign macro, right click the star. Okay. And we're going to assign fast arrival to it, and we'll click OK. Now notice when I put my cursor here, I get this little hand telling me I've got some executable language under it. So I'll do that. Okay, and then I'm going to come over to fast arrival. Let's do it. And there we are. You see this? We're doing this to create command buttons that automate the process. Okay, now we have a third one, of course, as you would guess. But before I do that, I'm going to press View, Macros. Okay, let's see. I stopped that macro, didn't I? Make sure. Let's just view the macros. And there they are, a fast arrival and vendors. Okay, so I want a third one, which is slow arrivals. And I'm going to insert shapes. Okay, and these folks are not my favorites. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get slow arrival, and I think what I'll do, I'd like to use emoticon, but I can't find one here that would be fitting. So I'm going to do this. Let me see here. That's one of the nice things about this. I'm going to select, okay. We've got some block arrows. This block arrow that points down, or you know what, I'm going to do a rectangle. Well, we can do a basic shape. And let's see here, what's a good basic shape? Well, let's use this one. So I'm going to put it in here. All right. Now, I'm going to right click this, and I'm going to put the fill is going to be red. Okay. And then for the font, let's see, for the font, standard color, and it will be Calibri 12, right? And I'm going to edit the text, and I'm going to call this slow arrival. And to make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to come back up here. Instead of black, I'm going to try white. There we go. And then I'm going to also make, that's 12, so we're good. Now I have the slow arrival, okay? And let's go back to the view, okay? And now we're ready to record a macro, okay? Now let's just to check, this goes vendor sort. Here's the fast arrival, and now we're ready to do build a macro for the slow arrival. So I'm going to click record macro, and this will be slow arrival. Okay, and that will be Control S. And in this one, we're going to have the days overdue in descending order. So this will be ZA, and the vendor name will be in ascending order. Now you say, why did you choose the ZA, i.e. the descending order? Because I want to see who takes longest to get their stuff to me. I click OK. Now I'm going to click on home. I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to do a custom sort. And this time, days overdue will be largest to smallest. And the vendor name, we're good there. And we'll click OK. And you can see now the change. Now, I want to assign this slow arrival object that I inserted to a macro. So I'm going to click assign a macro, and that's going to be slow arrival. And now when we put this here, boom, let's do fast arrival. Yeah. Oh, I need to stop. I need to go back here on the view. I need to stop recording. I'm sorry. Click stop recording. Okay. And now I'm ready. You see that little finger goes and that hand, it means hey, we're ready. So let's do slow arrival. There it is. We'll do fast arrival. And then we'll do the vendor sort. Now I realize that this, may seem okay, great, what a big deal. This is, if I have 10 times as many entries, records, I'm thanking God for this because I've got to do these every day. All right. Now, if I wanted to do some things like do computational work, okay, then I'm going to probably want to get rid of these, make a copy of this worksheet, okay, get rid of these three and do some analysis, or just simply take this and paste it into another worksheet and do some work. Let's look at the slow arrival. And we can see. Then we have the vendor sort, we have the fast arrival, we have the slow arrival. Okay. And you can see we're all lined up. And that really is, folks, that really is all there is to this. Over on page 113, all right, they show you the Excel tutorial for spreadsheet case 12, and they walk you through creating, creating a macro. So we've basically done that. All right. Now I am going to do this. I'm going to click View Macros, and I'm going to step into this, and it's going to show me the Visual Basic that's underneath here. This is a subroutine called vendors, and here are the comments, okay, and here are the cell ranges that are being worked with and what we're doing with them, and then we end, and then we end the sub, and then you'll see the second. is the subroutine fast arrival. Then you see the subroutine slow arrival. Okay? Now, I'm going to knock this out to get rid of it. And I want to return back up to, okay? So now I'm ready to go, and here's my vendor sort. Okay? And that again, fast arrival and slow arrival. And it might not be a bad idea, okay? Again, we can go in and look at the macro itself. We can look at the chart. These are the vendors. And we've got them ordered according to vendor name in ascending order. So they're alphabetized. Then we have the item number in ascending order. Okay. And then we have the cost per order in descending order. Then we got fast arrival. Here we start to look at days over 2. These guys shipped it. They promised it in 2 days. Boom, they got theirs 2 days ahead of time. Slow arrival, just the same. Okay? So we always have to take into account the transit time. Now, again, that's really all we have to do with this, and I'm going to save it. Click no, then choose a macro enable type field. So I'm going to click no. And I'm going to come down here in the workbook. And I'm going to save it as a Excel macro enabled workbook. That way they're done. Okay. Now again, if I wanted to, I could do some analysis with these and do some look at, for example, the average number of days overdue, the promised transit time, and that's, I think, fast arrival. Here's the vendor sort. Here's slow arrival. So you can see we've got these automated. And since we enabled this workbook to have a macro in it, we could do some other things with it. Okay, and we could look at item. We could look at the item number or order number. Okay, and analyze that. But we've basically worked ourselves through the vendor sort and the fast arrival and the slow arrival. Okay. So that's pretty much it as far as case 12 goes, Truman Assembly. And now I can save this because it's a macro-enabled workbook. And I might even write the macros out. Although if I want, I can see them up here. View the macros. And there's the vendors with the description. The slow arrival with the description, and the fast arrival with the description. And we've done good. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to close it off. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to the files section, and I'm going to upload it. All right. And there it is. Now notice something as you look. Notice you see the little exclamation. That means it's a micro-enabled worksheet. Okay. So I'm going to select it. And I'm going to click open. And it's uploaded, and you'll see it down here in the files, Truman. I also have another Truman Q case 12. There's case 11 me. Let's see, what did we name that? Well, I'm going to try Harmon. Okay, there's Dabney. And Excel case 20. And let's see here. Oh, here it is. And notice this says XLSM as opposed to XLSX. The XLSM means it has macro enabled. It has macros. Now I'm going to download this. Okay. And it's going to pop up. Okay. I'm going to open this and watch what will happen. I'm going to get a warning that this it's from the internet. I'll click enable editing. And then it says security warning, macros have been disabled. And I want to enable that content so I can do my sorts. And so I've uploaded this for you, and this is for case number 12. Now I'm going to clear that out. Okay. And get all the files up. And what I want to do, I'm going to bring this just back to the original bunch of them, or it should. There you go. Now, I've had a couple of resources. And I'd mentioned those to you, the how it's made over at YouTube, inside FedEx's Super Hub. And I can't remember if I put that over here. And let's just go to the modules for a minute, because I want to make sure that you see these. Now, I've got some stuff at the supplemental website, and that's the lawnmower components. We'll go back over there for a minute, okay? And we're going to look for a supply chain flows. So I'm going to do a quick search here. And anything with supply, there we are, supply chain workflows. Okay. And we'll click on that download. And this will show you how supply chains work. Now, this is very generalized, but again, this is a business problem analysis, and you have to be able to solve or deal with these problems effectively. You have to pretty much understand the suppliers, then any parts that can be done by assemblers, then the original equipment manufacturer, okay, and then it's out on retail. They follow some cars through, and they show you the flows of product. Notice that it turns into materials, into parts, into a product. And notice that orders run the opposite way. And then we have information sharing the opposite way. And then we see dollars flowing backwards. So I think you'll want to take a look at it, as well as the I have the lawnmower components. There you are. Okay. And FedEx, and I'm going to look here for the FedEx. And I didn't find anything. So I'll close this off. Okay. And then we'll go back. We're leaving the supplemental website. We're going back to Canvas. All right. And I think what I'm going to do here is, let's do this. Let's just click on a new tab, and I'm going to go over to YouTube. And I'm going to put FedEx X Super Hub. And you'll see inside this is a great YouTube to watch. It's 3 minutes. Then this is the Super Hub during rush. Okay, this walks you through Memphis, what they're doing there, time lapses of the Memphis hubs, so you can see those. Okay, and that will give you a sense of how complex this all becomes, and can be. And then we also saw we can also come over and look how it's made. And we want to put lawnmowers. I'll put lawn mowers. And this will show you. Here's a YouTube on how they make how it's made, how they make these mowers. And again, it's worth your while to take a look at it so that you understand, this is pretty complex stuff. So our ability to manage it becomes tremendously important. Okay, and think back at the fact that we've had this where we've looked at the supply chain, and think about also the case we had where we did the economic order quantity. Okay, and you can see how these two things fit together. We know what to order. We know who to order it from and who's going to get it to us in a timely manner and who isn't. Okay? Now, I'm going to do something here to just reinforce an important piece. And I'm going to take the settings and I'm going to go to Student View. Click on that. Okay? And I'm going to click Student View, and I'm going to see what each of you see. Now, here we are, and I'm going to come over here to the syllabus. All right? And I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to upload XLS Case 11. Case 12, which is Truman Assembly. Now, it's not due till the 19th of April, but we've done it today, so there's no reason for you not to put it up there. Okay? And I want to upload it. Okay? I'm going to click Submit Assignment, and it's going to let me choose a file. Of course, I'll go find this one, the copy of Harmon. Now, if I want to, I can add another file. Okay? And I've got it. And I'm pretty much good to go. I could add a file, another file if I wish. So I need to be careful about why I upload, which is why I show you here in these workshops what you're doing. And I'm going to submit the assignment. Okay. It's submitting it. Okay. And there it is. I turned it in March 5th at 7:57. The submission details. And if I want to, I can download a copy of it. So I know it's been turned in. And I can even click on the submission details and it'll show me this. Okay. And then if I want, I can reassign this. I can continue to do this till I run out of time, till the timer in other words, the assignment closes. So I'm going to leave the student view so that you've been able to see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm back to the instructor view. And that's it for XLSX 12 Truman Assembly. Okay. And you can see that I submitted it. And I'm ready to grade me. I think I did a good job. I'll give me a 10 for this. Okay. Well, folks, that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to stop the recording.